This is lecture 10B on the course Calculus of One Variable, and it's a continuation of lecture 10A. We are discussing the properties of absolute values of real number, the modulus of real number. So, this is theorem 1.8 which we are discussing, and among this first 6 property we have already proved. So, we would prove today in this session this 7 and 8. 7 is a very important property of modulus, that is called as the triangle inequality. So, the reason why it is called as the triangle inequality is this. So, the proof for 7th one, what we need to show is that, okay, I would write down it as a claim mod of a plus b is less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b. Basically, what does this say is that the third side of a triangle is always greater than or equal to first two sides. So, suppose we have this as the vector a, so its distance is denoted by mod of a, and suppose this is mod of b, then this is the third side of the triangle which connects exactly to this, and that is mod of a plus mod of b. Okay, so the sum of this is always greater than or equal to the sum of this two is always less than or equal to the third side, and that is why we have this result which we would be proving using the definition, simply the definition of absolute value. And in fact, we would prove one extra thing over here, that the equality, when does this equality attain? So, the equality attain only when a and b are of both same sign. Okay. So, either a and b both lie to the left of 0 or both lie to the right of 0, strictly, not strictly, it can be equal to also. Okay. So, we would prove this. So, for that first we need to consider this mod of a plus b. So, we should have the definition. Okay, now we would use the definition of mod of a plus b as the maximum of a plus b and minus of a plus b. So, that is maximum of a plus b comma minus a minus b, right. Okay. So, now from the property 3 we know that a is less than or equal to mod of a, minus a is less than or equal to mod of a, and this is true for any a. So, this has to be true for this a and b both. Okay. So, from 3 we know that a is less than or equal to mod of a, and also minus a is less than or equal to mod of a. Also, this is true even in case of b. So, b is less than or equal to mod of b, and minus b is less than or equal to mod of b. Now, you just add this to inequality. So, you get, and therefore, we have a plus b less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b, and minus a minus b is less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b, right. So, you can see that a plus b as well as minus a minus b both are less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b, and so therefore, this should implies that the maximum of both of this, that would be either a plus b or minus a minus b, this has to be less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b, because both are less than, maximum would be either a plus b or minus a minus b, and both are less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b. So, we have this equality, but what is that? This is same as writing maximum of a plus b and its negative minus of a plus b, right. This is less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b, but by definition this should be same as. So, you just treat that a plus b as x. So, this is same as maximum of x comma minus x, and that x is nothing but a plus b. So, that is nothing but mod of a plus b less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b. That proves the result. So, as I said, I would be proving the equality. So, there is an equivalent condition for the equality of this inequality. So, to show that equality holds, so equality holds that is this are equal if and only if both A and B lies to the right or to the left of, that is same as saying A is greater than or equal to 0 and B is greater than or equal to 0, or A is less than or equal to 0. See, this is happening, either this is happening together or this is happening together. Okay. So, how do we show that? So, this I would show in one stretch. So, therefore, I would start with this. Suppose equality occurs. So, that is A plus B is equal to mod of A plus mod of B, and I would show that this is true, and both can be proved in a reverse way. So, I would start with if and only if. So, this is true. If this is true, that means their square also have to be, both are positive quantities. So, that the square also have to be equal. So, I can say that mod of A plus B the whole square is same as mod of A plus mod of B the whole square. Okay. But we know that mod of A the whole square is same as A square using property 2. So, instead of A, now I have A plus B, and therefore, I can simply replace this as A plus B the whole square. So, that is same as mod of A plus mod of B the whole square, right. So, this is same as if and only if. You know how to, you know the evaluation, this is binomial expansion A square 2AB plus B square. This is same as mod of A square plus 2 into mod of A into mod of B plus mod of B square. Do not forget that here you have mod A and mod B. So, that same as saying A square plus 2AB plus B square, which is equal to mod of A square. Again, I am using that property repeatedly. This would be same as A square plus 2 into mod of A mod of B plus B square, right. And so, we have, so therefore, this is same as A square gets cancelled, B square gets cancelled, 2 gets cancelled. So, you have A B is equal to mod of A into mod of B, that same as mod of A B. When this can happen? When can you have A B to be equal to mod of A B? This will happen provided this A B, because mod of A B can be either minus of A B or A B. So, it is minus of A B when the A B is negative, and it is positive when this term is positive, greater than or equal to 0. So, this can happen only when A B is greater than or even equal to 0, the product is 0. So, even we can consider equality 0, and when the product is greater than or equal to 0, when either both of them are positive or both of them are negative. So, this is same as saying A is greater than 0 and B is greater than 0, or A is less than or equal to 0 or B is less than or equal to 0. In this way, we attain the proof for the equality. So, next is again that is 8th one, the proof of 8th one. The claim in this case is mod of A minus mod of B is less than or equal to mod of A minus B. Okay. So, I just write this properly. This is the result that we need to. Okay. Now, to show this, you can see that this is of the form mod of x less than or equal to epsilon. Anyway, we have proved that result, equivalent result for strictly inequality. We can use it for the equality also. So, we use property 5, which says okay, I will write down. It states that mod of x is less than or equal to, I would consider the equality also in this case, if and only if x is lie in between minus epsilon comma epsilon. So, that is property 5 if I am not wrong. Yes. So, I am going to use this fact. So, in this case, okay. So, why I mean how I am using, I want to show that this is true, this is biconditional statement. So, I want to show that in this case you can observe that this part mod of A minus mod of B can be considered as x, and epsilon can be considered as the whole mod of A minus B if I compare to this. So, to show that this is true, it is enough to show that this is true and vice versa, but in this case I want to show that this is true. So, I will simply show that x belongs to minus epsilon comma epsilon. So to show that this is true, hence to attain the claim we need to show okay. So in this case you compare this to this. I am going to prove that this is true provided this is true. So in this case the value of x is mod of a minus mod of b, and the value of epsilon is this entire mod of a minus b, mod of a minus b. So I have to show that mod of a minus mod of b belongs to your epsilon is mod of a minus b. So minus of a minus b comma mod of a minus b. So you are done if you have proved this. So that is to prove that I would write down this using the definition of open interval. So this lies in between these two number. So that is same as minus a minus b less than, okay, in this case since the equality is considered, this would be the closed interval. Okay, this would be the closed interval, and here also this would be the closed interval. And so when the closed intervals is considered, the end points are also considered. So therefore this has to be less than or equal to mod of a minus mod of b and less than or equal to mod of a minus b. So we need to show this, and that we show using the triangle inequality. So how do we do that? So for that we consider first, I mean this is bit constructive, we use certain trick to prove this. So what I will do is that I will consider mod of a, and I would write down this as the sum of two real number. How is it possible? So I will balance this by b. So that is, I will write down this as a minus b plus b, right? And so I would consider this a minus b as the first term in the triangle inequality, and I can use the triangle inequality over here, considering this as first term and considering this as the second term. So therefore by triangle inequality we should have this is less than or equal to the mod of the first term plus mod of the second term. So that is same as mod of a minus b plus mod of b. So this is by triangle inequality. Right? And therefore if I take now this, see I want this relation. So if I take this mod of b to the other side, so we have attained that mod of a is less than or equal to mod of a minus b plus b. So if I subtract throughout by b mod of b, then I will get mod of a minus mod of b less than or equal to it's same as taking this to the other side. So now I am just considering this with this, forget about this, there is a less than equality sign. So therefore we would have less than or equality. So this would be same as mod of a minus b. So have we attained one inequality? Yes, true. We have proved that this is true, and I would call this as 1. So now we want to show that this is true, that the idea is similar. So you just consider mod of b. Mod of b can be written as, again you write down this as the sum of two term by balancing it by a. So you can write down this as b minus a plus a, and this would be one term in the triangle inequality, and so you have this as less than or equal to b minus a plus mod of a, right? Considering this as the first term, this as the second term in triangle inequality, using the fact that mod of a plus b is less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b. So we have this. So this is by again triangle inequality. Okay. So therefore we have now mod of b minus mod of a is less than or equal to mod of b minus a from here. Okay. So now that same as saying, okay, I want to show that, okay, I will see the inequality, I want to show that mod of a minus b is less than or equal to mod of a minus mod of b. So we have over here this mod of b minus mod of a, I just need to change the sign. So I will multiply throughout by minus 1, so I will get minus of mod of b minus mod of A is greater than or equal to minus of B minus A. By the way, what is this B minus A? Can I write down this as A minus B? Yes, because it is simply negative of A minus B, and you know that mod of x is same as mod of minus x. So, that is by definition. So, therefore, this is same as now mod of B minus A greater than or equal to, okay, now I would write down this as, okay, this will remain as it is. This is same as minus of A minus B, as one can observe it, and that same as minus I will write as it is. So, mod of minus x is same as x. So, instead of x we have A minus B. So, this should be mod of A minus B. So, this is by the fact that mod of minus x is same as mod of x. And therefore, we have attained the inequality that mod, this is same as now writing mod of A minus mod of B is greater than or equal to mod of minus of A minus B. So, are we done with the result? We want to show, we want to attain this inequality mod of A minus B. So, that is on the right hand side is less than or equal to mod of A minus mod of B. So, this can be written as mod of minus of mod of A minus B is less than or equal to mod of A minus mod of B. And therefore, using 1 and 2, one says that mod of A minus mod of B is less than or equal to A mod of A minus B, and here minus of mod of A minus B is less than or equal to mod of A minus mod of B. So, therefore, from 1 and 2, I know that, okay, I will take this inequality first, minus of A mod of A minus B is less than or equal to mod of A minus mod of B, which is less than or equal to from 1 less than or equal to mod of A minus B. So, this says that, and therefore, this says that mod of A minus mod of B belongs to the interval minus of mod of A minus B comma mod of A minus B, and therefore, by the result, okay, this is again I made a same mistake over here. This has to be closed interval because we are including the end points, and therefore, by the result 5 we get this is equivalent to saying that mod of A minus mod of B is less than or equal to mod of mod of A minus B is less than or equal to this quantity. So, that is the results. So, hence in fact, we have proved one standard inequality in modulus. So, you can note that I will write down this in yellow. So, note that one can observe this mod of A minus mod of B is less than or equal to mod of A minus B. Can I apply triangle inequality to this? Why not? So, this can be written as A plus of minus B if you know you believe that it can be applicable only for plus. So, in that case, now I can consider this as my A and this as my B in the triangle inequality. So, this is of the form mod of A plus B, and that is why by triangle inequality this should get split as mod of A plus mod of minus B, and that is same as saying mod of A plus mod of minus B is same as mod of B, and therefore, we have attained one inequality. So, that is mod of A minus mod of B is less than or equal to mod of A minus B, which in turn is less than or equal to mod of A plus mod of B. This is a very important inequality which one should know, and you can also see over here that even if there is a minus sign, I can apply the triangle inequality with plus sign out, not the minus sign out. So, I cannot say mod of A minus B less than or equal to mod of A minus mod of B. That is not true, that is absolutely incorrect. Okay. So, before I proceed, we have two remark or two observation which in fact I have stated in the first class of this. One can think of mod of A minus B as the distance between A and B, and that would be same as saying length of the interval or open interval A comma B, or B, I mean depending on which one is greater. So a comma b or b comma a. Okay, so this denotes the distance between A and B. Now, why I am saying distance between A and B? Because I do not know exactly where A and B lies. So, without loss of generality, if I say that A lies over here, then this distance I would either call it as mod of A minus B or mod of B minus A. It would means the same thing. Okay. So, even if B lies over, here and A lies over here, the distance would remain same. And thus, in fact, and therefore, mod of x actually denotes what? The distance between what? X can be written as x minus 0 or 0 minus x, so 0 and x. Okay. Second remark is the observation one can make through this modulus. Okay. So, if I have two real numbers, say a and b, then its maximum, how to denote the maximum on the real line? So, it is nothing but half of this inequality, this relation is also important, as we may use it further. A plus b plus mod of a minus b. In other words, a plus b by 2 plus mod of a minus b by 2, and similarly one can also state the result for a comma b, minimum of a comma b, which would be same as half into a plus b minus mod of a minus b. Okay. Now, I would just give the geometrical idea of this on a real line, what exactly this means. Okay. So, suppose I have a straight line, and without loss of generality, let us assume that, say A lies over here. Please excuse me for this line, it is not a straight line, by the way. So, but you can assume that it is a straight line, and say I consider my B to be somewhere here, right. So, in fact, I wanted this A to be, anyway, fine. So, now if this is, now you know that since A lies to the left of B, this A have to be less than or equal to B. So, if I compare both of them, right, if I compare both of them, this A is actually the minimum of A comma B. So, this is actually, and in fact, I am going to show that this A also can be written as half time A plus B minus mod of A minus B, and this is nothing but the maximum of A comma B, right. Because I know that I am plotting this on a, when you just consider A and B, you do not know which one is less than the other one. So, I am just taking without loss of generation, that generality, that this A is lying to the left of B. Now, if you notice one thing over here, okay, so by the above terminology, this whole thing would be same as saying it is a distance between A and B or B and A. That same as saying mod of A minus B or mod of B minus A. Remember that mod of A minus B is always same as mod of B minus A. So, because mod of x is same as mod of minus x. Okay. So, this distance is mod of A minus B, and now if I find the center of this A and B, that is the midpoint of this A and B, it is exactly given by A plus B by 2, right, and therefore, this distance would be half of this distance. So, that is mod of A minus B by 2, and this distance would be again half of this distance. So, this distance is mod of A minus B by 2, and therefore, this distance is also mod of A minus B by 2, right. And so, how do we write down this maximum in terms of this distance and A plus B by 2? Okay, now, A plus B by 2, it is going to be a positive quantity. So, we would if this is 0, then this distance is A plus B by 2, right, from 0 to this point. Okay. So, therefore, this maximum of a comma b would be same as writing this a plus b by 2 plus this distance mod of a minus b by 2, and that is what exactly is mentioned over here. So, a plus b by 2 plus mod of a minus b by 2, and minimum of a comma b, I mean you can actually consider this as, I mean this distance is same as a plus b by 2, I mean considering that a and b are positive. Okay. So, again minimum of a comma b, and this can be actually generalized for any real number in fact. Okay. So, because I am taking a and b to be a positive, 0 would lie to the left of this a and b. So, minimum of a comma b would be same as what in terms of again a plus b by 2. So, it will be a plus b by 2 minus this distance mod of a minus b by 2, right, because we want this distance. So, it would be simply same as saying this minus this, and so we have this. This can be generalized. I have taken one case, this can be generalized even if a and b is lying to the left of this, and we have this as the observation. Okay. Now, we define the bounded set and we generalize this in terms of absolute property, absolute value. So, a subset in R is said to be bounded in R if and only if it is bounded above as well as bounded below in R. I missed the term in R. If it is both bounded above as well as bounded below, that is, if I write down in short notation, then A in R is bounded if and only if, what do you mean by saying bounded above and bounded below? There exists upper bound and lower bound. So, that is same as saying there exists alpha and beta in R such that what happens, such that for every x in A, what happens is that, I mean I would take that alpha as an upper bound, beta as a lower bound. So, beta is less than or equal to x, less than or equal to alpha. This is true, right. So, in other words, you can see that if this is true, that means every point of x is lying inside this beta comma alpha. So, that is same as saying A itself, the whole set is lying in the closed interval beta comma alpha. So, this is same as saying A is a subset of R is bounded if and only if there exists alpha comma beta in R such that this A is entirely lying in the closed interval alpha beta comma alpha, in this case I think, yeah, beta comma alpha, right, beta comma alpha, beta comma alpha, yes, because beta is less than alpha. Okay. So, this is what it would mean geometrically. And so, we have a theorem related to equivalent statement to a bounded set. So, that is this theorem 1.9. A subset A of R is said to be bounded in R if there exists a positive, in fact, even you can take there would be a number which equal to 0 if this A is a singleton 0, right. If there exists m positive such that minus m is less than or equal to x, less than or equal to m for every x in A, when you are producing it, so definitely you have to produce a number which is strictly greater than 0. Okay. So, that is same as saying is bounded in R if and only if there exists m positive, I did not complete the statement, such that this would same as saying mod of x lies is less than or equal to m, right, by the property 5 if I am not wrong. So, we would prove this. So, one part is very simple to prove. If I say that if this is true, then definitely it has to be bounded, because you can see that the upper bound is m and the lower bound is minus m. So, that is a converse part. So, first we would see the direct part. So, I am assuming that A is bounded in R. So, by definition there exists alpha and beta in R such that, I am writing using shorthand notation, such that alpha is less than or equal to x, less than or equal to beta for all x in A. So, now I want to produce m such that x is less than or equal to m and greater than or equal to minus m. So, geometrically you should have an idea of producing this m, and more natural way of producing this m is you just take, because you want to be a positive. So, you can just think of mod of alpha and mod of beta, but that won't be enough, because if alpha and beta can be a 0 also, if that is the case, then m is not strictly greater than 0. So, what I would do is that I would take maximum of this mod of alpha plus 1 comma mod of beta plus 1. The reason why maximum, because basically I want to cover that x from both the side, right hand side as well as the left hand side. So, if I take maximum of this, then that would be the longer radius of x on one side, and so if I cover the open interval from both the side, it is going to cover every element of x. So, we would see whether this choice of m will work. I have just guessed this choice. Okay. So, now I want to show that mod of x is less than or equal to m, or in other words, I want to show that x lies in between minus m and m. So, now since we know that mod of x is maximum of x comma minus x, we would have mod of x to be equal to x or minus of x. Okay. So, I will discuss this in two cases, and I would show that in both the cases we would attain this inequality which we require. So, if mod of x is equal to x, then in that case it is straightforward. We know that x is less than or equal to beta, but also we know that this beta is less than or equal to mod of beta, and we also know that this mod of beta is strictly less than mod of beta plus 1. By the way, why I have chosen this beta plus mod of beta plus 1 mod of alpha plus 1, because we want a strictly greater than 0 real number, right. We want that m to be strictly greater than 0. So, no matter, even if this alpha and beta is 0, this will always be strictly greater than 0. So, we have this strictly inequality. Okay. And so, we have and therefore, this could be same as saying, now mod of beta plus 1, okay, if I compare this to the maximum, then this has to be less than or equal to maximum of mod of alpha plus 1 comma mod of beta plus 1. It could be either mod of alpha plus 1, mod of beta plus 1, depending on which one is greater, and therefore, this has to be greater than or equal to this, and that is nothing but your m. So, we have shown that shown that mod of x is less than, in fact, it is strictly inequality, and therefore, I can say that mod of x is less than or equal to m. Less than or equal to, I am saying that one of the statement is true, because mod of x strictly less than is true. So, even I can consider or equal to m in that case, because that is what I want to show. Again, I would show when mod of x is equal to minus x. When mod of x is equal to minus x, we know that x is greater than or equal to alpha from the other side. I am considering, okay, in this case I am considering beta as upper bound and alpha as the lower bound. So, I mean, I have just changed the notation, I think, from the definition. Yes, let me check. Yeah, so not an issue with the notation. So, if this is if mod of x is equal to minus x, you know that alpha is less than or equal to x. So, therefore, minus x has to be greater than or equal to minus alpha. So, therefore, this has to be greater than, oh sorry, I should have said, yeah, minus of x. See, we know that alpha is less than or equal to x. So, therefore, minus alpha is greater than or equal to minus x, and therefore, x has to be less than or equal to minus alpha, and therefore, we have this. What happened to this? Okay, and therefore, minus x has to be less than or equal to minus alpha, which is less than or equal to mod of alpha, which is strictly less than mod of alpha plus 1, which is less than or equal to maximum of mod of alpha plus 1 comma mod of beta plus 1, which is equal to m. And in similar way I have shown that mod of x is strictly less than m, and therefore I can say that mod of x is less than or equal to m. So this proves the direct part, and therefore what we have is that I mean both the cases we have shown that mod of x is less than or equal to m for all x in A. So this proves the direct part. Converse part is very simple. If mod of x is less than or equal to m for some m greater than 0. So in that is x is less than or equal to m and greater than or equal to minus m. This is true for all x in A. By the way, this has to, I missed one term here, for all x in A. This is, if I am assume that this is true for all x in A. So that is what it says. Now from here it is very easy to observe that this m is an upper bound of A and minus m is in lower bound. So therefore the set is bounded above as well as the set is bounded below. So therefore m is an upper bound of A and minus m is a lower bound, is a lower bound of A, and therefore these are the upper bounds and lower bounds in R, and therefore A is bounded set. So that proves the converse part, bounded in R. So with this we have proved all the results in absolute property, absolute value in R. And so the next lecture is going to be with the new, I mean we would start with the new chapter, that is the sequences and the convergence. So stay tuned for the next lecture, and have a nice day ahead.